This is going to be a fun class. I'm going to like this class.
Yeah, I like to shoot.
Yeah, I think the subject is actually very interesting, so it'll be fun to see what you guys think.
Yeah,
Hey, Dante.
it makes me realize that
Hi, Farhan.
we have a lot to learn.
Yeah, we always have a lot to learn, right? It's actually really good. Dante, how's it going?
Fine, Farhan. How are you?
Good, good, good. Good to see you again.
Nice Thank you.
Yeah. How is life? Everything going okay?
Yes, everything is okay.
Fantastic,
Thanks.
fantastic. Yeah, no problems. Hey, Julissa, how's it going? Oh, I think maybe she signed on. Julissa! I'm just joking. Okay, I think she will join in a little bit. Sometimes our internet gets a little disconnected. Um, but yeah, so Dante, remind me again, do you live in Madrid?
Yes, I live in Madrid.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I was trying to remember because sometimes I forget where folks are from. But okay, no, Madrid.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
very early morning there right now, right?
Yes, it's 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning. Wow, that's welcome to class. It's very early. It's
Thank you.
yeah, that's great.
Good morning.
Hey,
Where are
so
you?
welcome back. Oh, I am in Wisconsin, so I'm back home. I am 7 hours behind you, so it's 10 p.m. here in Wisconsin. Yeah. Oops, can't spell my
Wisconsin.
own state. Yeah, Wisconsin. There you go.
Okay.
So yeah, in cold Wisconsin. Today the temperature was 3 degrees centigrade outside.
Ooh, very cold.
Yeah, just
Cold,
in
yeah.
October.
October.
I think November is probably going to be -10, -20, no, probably -10 centigrade. I've seen -10 centigrade before.
Mm.
Very cold, very.
The
Uh,
temperature in Madrid is 15 degrees, more or less.
that's pretty comfortable. That's a nice temperature, right?
Yeah, but it's going to down more
It's going to go
in,
down. Yeah. No,
in the
absolutely.
in the proximal month.
Yeah, November is usually December and January are the coldest months here. But I don't like. Do you guys see snow in central Spain, like in Madrid? Do you guys see snow?
It snows in the north of
Yeah.
Spain. In Madrid, mm, very few.
Yeah. Very rarely, I think. Right. Great. Great. Awesome, guys. So how's it going?
Good.
Were you busy in the last class? I wasn't sure because you were bouncing in and out a little bit. Was it your connection maybe?
Honestly, I was making me some breakfast.
Oh, okay, fantastic. I thought maybe it was something with maybe like the Google Hangout or something. So I wasn't sure if that was causing problems, but okay, no problems. Uh, Julissa, can you hear us by any chance?
Yes, hi.
Hey, Julissa, how's it going?
Hello.
Good, good.
I'm doing fine.
Nice.
But I hear it's a little bit breaking. Maybe it's my connection.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
The rest of you guys? Okay.
Yeah, they can hear okay.
Yeah, I
Let
think
me see.
Julissa, it might be your connection. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Maybe it's breaking up a
Yeah,
little bit. Yeah.
I will reload it.
Okay, no worries. Okay, Claudia, welcome back.
Okay, nice to see you again,
Yeah,
friends.
yeah. Thank you, thank you. Nice to see you as well. Um, Let us actually, guys. Let's wait 2 more minutes. But before we get started with the actual lesson, I want to take some time to just explain what we're going to talk about today. So today we are actually going to be looking at a very fascinating article about elephants, right? So when we think about animals, elephants are actually one of the most intelligent animals in the world, right? We look at dolphins. as being extremely intelligent in the water, elephants are extremely intelligent on land, right? Very intelligent land animals. And one of the things that we are going to learn about is when it comes to elephants, when it comes to their gestures, right? When it comes to human beings making gestures, right? What's a gesture? A gesture is me saying, you know, come here, right? Or bye-bye, right? These are gestures, right? So elephants, scientists are studying elephants, and they believe that elephants can actually understand human gestures, right? So if you tell an elephant go there, right? Elephant will go there, or they will do certain things when you use gestures, right? Before I go on though, Sean, how's it going? Welcome to class.
Hey, how are you? I'm good. Thank you.
Good, fantastic. We have a lot of folks in this class, so that's very good. 6 students so far. So I wanted to ask you guys, since we're talking about animals, we're talking about human-animal interaction, right? The question I had for you guys was, do any of you guys own any pets? And if so, what pet do you own? And if not, then what pet would you like to own? Right? So I want everyone to at least say something if they don't own a pet or if they do own a pet, right? Let's start with Claudio on the left.
Yes, and I have a pet, my own pet, and he understand my signals, my gestures.
What kind of pet?
It's a dog.
It's a dog. Okay, fantastic.
It's a dog. Yes.
And so, what kinds of gestures does he understand? Like
to sit and to go out when he is running a lot, and we want to be calm, and I just make a gesture. Or I just do a gesture. I just make a gesture to him.
Make a gesture is good. Make a gesture is good. Yeah.
I just make a gesture to him, and he go out to the kitchen or the out of kitchen.
Fantastic.
Or the out of room. Yes.
That's awesome. So yeah, dogs are also extremely intelligent, right? They can understand a lot of things that we do. Dante, do you? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Claudio.
But of course, he was trained to understand it.
Yeah, how long did it take you to train him?
Maybe 2 weeks. In the third week, he was understood.
Nice. That's awesome. That's a smart animal, right? So, Dante, what about you? Do you own a pet?
No, I don't have a pet. But
If
I would like to have a dog.
You'd like to have a dog? Nice, right? How come a dog? Why a dog?
Well, because I don't know if I think it's the most appropriate for the child for the children. I think.
Absolutely. You know, dogs are very fun animals, right? Especially with children, they can do a lot of, they like to play with kids as well. So that's a great option. What about you, Julissa? What kind of do you own a pet? Julissa?
No,
Can you
right
hear?
now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry for my connection. Right
No, that's
now,
fine.
I don't own a pet, but I would love to have a dog again.
Fantastic. So lots of dog lovers here, right? So same situation as Dante. No pet right now, but would like to have a dog. What about you, Marcelo?
I had a turtle.
A turtle. That's awesome.
Yeah, I had a turtle, but she died, and I got very upset.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Because I usually talk to her.
Yeah, you know.
When I was down, I usually spend time talking to her.
Turtles live a long time though, don't they?
It's crazy. Yeah, they live a long time. They use it to
Yeah.
live a long time.
I
But you
think
see, I had a little turtle, you know, very small turtle.
Well,
It, it, it didn't grow up a lot, you know.
it stayed small.
Yeah, very small.
Nice. Did you ever consider getting another turtle?
No turtle anymore, no more.
No
But
more turtles.
I intend to have a dog.
Nice, nice. Once again, dogs, very popular. And Sean, what about you?
Oh, I don't have a pet now, but when I was young, we had a cat,
You guys had a cat, right?
and
That's
yeah. And I remember when that cat died of a disease.
oh wow, sorry to hear that.
Died of disease, and my younger brother cried for a whole day. They we we loved that cat.
Yeah. No, pets should become very attached, or we become very attached to our pets, right?
Right.
Especially once we have them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider getting another cat for yourself, or did your family
Uh,
consider it?
I'm considering to get a dog.
Wow, everyone's going for
Yeah, I
dogs.
do like a dog. I don't know why. I mean,
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. And what about Soso? Do you have a pet?
No, I don't.
Would you like to have one?
Not really. I'm not a bat lover.
Nice, nice. Okay, fantastic. I had two fish and they both died, so I have no pets. Also, right? So fish are actually very difficult to take care of. I don't know if you guys have ever had experience with fish,
what kind
but
of fish?
so these fish are supposedly these fish can survive in any kind of condition. They're called beta fishes. Beta fishes, I think, Betta fishes. Yeah, they are actually from Thailand originally, and you can't put two males in the same aquarium because they'll kill each other,
Uh-huh.
right? So I had just one male, and I had no other fish, just one fish in the bowl. I think it died because it was lonely. Honestly, I think it just became so bored of his life that he just died, right? Because I took good care of it. Always changed the water, gave him really good food and stuff. So I don't know, whatever. Beta fishes, right? They're very popular here with children as the first pet. You know, the first pet that children get to own. A lot of kids, they use beta fishes because goldfish are actually very difficult. They are very sensitive fish. So great, guys. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing your ideas on pets, right? Let's get started, guys, with our grammar lesson today. So we are going to be looking at modals of deduction, right? And when we use modals of deduction in English, we are talking about words that indicate how likely it is that something happened, right? We're talking about likelihood of actions, right? So there are four types of words that we use modals of deduction for, right? There are four modals of deduction, I should say. And the first one is must, okay? So if we say must in a sentence, right, that indicates that we are very, very confident about the likelihood of something, right? We are extremely confident about the likelihood of something. So if you wake up and you see that everything is white outside, then you can say, it must have snowed last night, right? It must have snowed last night. You have no doubt that the white stuff is snow, right? It must have snowed last night, right? So if you're extremely sure about something, we use must, right? 95% or more sure, that's maybe one way you could think about it. Really, it's more like 100%, confidence in something, right? We use must. Then, if we step down a little bit, if we are only 50% sure about something, 50% sure about the likelihood that something happened, then we can use we can use either may or might, right? If you wake up and you see that all the trees on outside your house are broken, right? Let's say the trees are there's branches everywhere, there are leaves everywhere, you don't know what happened, then you can say it might have, there might have been a thunderstorm last night, right? There might have been a thunderstorm. Maybe it was a thunderstorm, maybe it was something bigger, maybe it was whatever, right? You might not be 100% sure. So 50% certainty when you're not very sure, when you're kind of in the middle, yes, no, maybe so, right? We use may or might, right? And then when we step down even more, right, when the probability, when the likelihood of an action is even lower, then we use could, right? So could is something that we indicate almost like we didn't think it was going to happen. The likelihood is very low, right? So you can think of it this way. Maybe, you are driving down the street and you see a house that has all of its windows are broken, right? Or maybe just one window is broken on the first floor, right? You can say, there could have been a robbery, right? There could have been a robbery. Maybe a robber came in, broke the window, and that's how he got in, right? But we're not sure. It could be many other things as well, right? So there could have been a robbery versus, something that you're more sure about, right? So must is you're extremely confident about something. May or might, you're about 50%. And could is when you're not very confident about the likelihood of something, right? Any questions, guys, on this so far?
No question.
No questions? Okay.
I'm okay.
Fantastic. Let's do this then, right? Let's all go around and let's make a sentence using any of these modals of deduction, right? So, Marcelo, do you have to leave?
No, just the question. I ought. There is this phrase, this word too that you have to. You could use. You can use it too. I ought to go.
I ought to go.
Yeah. Okay.
You can use this as well, right? Ought is really more of an indication of should, right?
Right. Okay.
Ought is another way of saying should. Like I should go, I ought to go, right? So
But
it's a little
ought
bit
is
different.
more formal.
Honestly, we don't even say ought in the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a British thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't care about the British, right?
What about I'm supposed to?
I'm supposed to go, I should go. Yeah, those are both very common, right?
Okay.
I'm supposed to go, I should go, right? Yeah, exactly. Ought to go is like, I ought to go, please. No, that's British. We don't want that.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm just joking. But no, it is English, Marcelo. It's definitely 100% correct, but it's very uncommon in the US for conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic. Great question. So let's start with Soso on the right. Soso, let's make a sentence, any sentence you want, using any of these modals of deduction, right? Actually, go. But Soso, before you do that, I'm really sorry. I just wanted to say the construction for this, right? I forgot to write the construction. So when you make the construction, right, you have the subject, so I, whatever, right, and then you can say a modal. So it must be, like, you can think of it as, when I was talking about the building with the window that was broken, right? It must be a robber. It might be a robber, right? Or you can say, if it's in the past, it might have been a robber, right? So that modal and then the verb to be, those are different ways that you can construct something, right? There are many other ways to do it also, but that's one way to think about it. The second way, actually, so I'm really sorry. I should have told you this. I should have done this earlier. So if it's in the present tense, then we can say it must be something, right? Modal, subject, modal, be, and then the noun, right? It must be a robbery. It must be whatever. If we use we can also use an opinion. We can also share an opinion with other people about what we think happened, right? So in that example, right, we can say, let's say somebody is talking to you about their job, right? And their job is very, very, like, it's not a fun job. So if you listen to that person talking to you, you can say, wow, that job must be really boring, right? That job must be so stressful, right? So that's another way when we're using opinions, right? So the first example, just using a noun, just talking generally about a situation. The second example, we are injecting our opinion into the situation, right? And then we also have, so this is the third type that I was telling you guys about, right? When we are talking about a past event, right? You drive outside and you see that building that has that broken window, right? It's a past event. The window is already broken, right? So in this example, you would use the subject, then a modal, and then have, and then a past participle, right? It could have been a robber, right? It could have been vandalism, right? Vandalism is when people go and they break stuff, right? It could have been vandalism, right? So these are the three types of constructions that we can use when we make these sentences, right? So go ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay. She could be her sister.
She could be her sister, right? So what kind of a situation would you use that in, so for example?
When you're talking about some other person.
Yeah, right? Maybe you see two people. One looks like one of the two girls looks like a friend of yours, right? Or whatever. You can say she could be her sister, right? So why did you use could instead of may, might, or must? So. Yeah, it's this for this example. It's just a matter of choice, right? Depending on how sure you are. If the two people look very similar, then you can say must, right? Or whatever else you want to use, right? Good. Sean, can you please give me an example using any of these modals? A sentence.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is severe traffic jam. There must be a car accident involved.
Fantastic, right? This is a really severe traffic jam. There must be a car accident, right? Maybe on the road, right? Or there must be a car accident up ahead, right?
Up ahead.
That's
Okay.
yeah, up ahead. That's causing this, right? So there must be a car accident up ahead. And why did you use must again, Sean?
Because it's pretty sure, right? If there's a traffic jam, severe
Yeah,
traffic jam.
yeah. So maybe it's an accident, or it must be an accident, right? In that situation, if that's what normally happens, right?
Right.
It must be an accident. Exactly. Marcelo.
One question
Oh, I'm
here.
sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Sean. Yeah.
So what's in past tense of must?
So the modal actually does not change tenses, right? The modal always stays the modal. In the past tense, we simply add the have and the past participle.
Okay.
So if you were driving by and you saw that the other thing was the other side of the road was very packed, you can say there must have been an accident, right? There must have been an accident, something like that, right?
Okay.
Good question. Hey, okay, Marcelo, go ahead.
I must brush up on my skill English.
I must brush
My
up
English
on.
skill.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I was just about to fix that last part. I must brush up on my English skills, right? And
Yeah.
why are you using must? Your English is pretty good. Why are you using must?
When I'm sure that I have to improve it.
Yeah. So your personal confidence is high, or you believe personally that you should really do this, so you use must, right?
Yeah.
In that example. Fantastic. Fantastic. I must brush up on my English skills, right? Okay, Julissa, let's hear from you.
Someone took my earrings. It might have been my sister.
Someone took my earrings. It might have been my sister. Fantastic. And why did you use might in that example, Julissa?
Because I'm still not sure if it was her or maybe it was my cousin
Fantastic,
or
right?
my mother.
So there are multiple suspects, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been my sister, it might have been my mother, it might have been my cousin. Fantastic, right? So 50%, you're not 100% sure, not super unsure, you're in the middle somewhere, so we use might, right? Fantastic. Dante, let's hear from you.
The windows of my kitchen are open. It could have been the wind.
It could have been the wind, right? Fantastic.
Right.
The windows of my kitchen are open. It could have been the wind. Why are you using could in this example, Dante?
Because I'm not sure about that. It could have been my wife or a robber. I don't know.
Hopefully not a robber, right?
It could
Yeah.
have been a robber.
It could have been a robber. Yeah, it could have been anything,
Yeah.
right? But in this
Yeah.
example, yeah, you're using it because you're not as sure, right? So it could have been your wife, it could have been the wind, anything like that, right? Good
Yeah.
job. And last but not least, Claudio, something from you, please.
Okay. And if he were good, he could have been my boss.
Fantastic. If he were good, he could have been my boss, right? So, when would you use this situation, Claudio?
And if I am in my job and I have a colleague who is very intelligent, very clever, but a little bit lazy, or that opposed, maybe he could be a good worker, but he could not be so clever.
Yeah, exactly, right? Somebody who has potential but doesn't exercise that potential, right? So
Yes.
somebody who really, if they worked hard, they could be the boss, but no, if he were good, he could have been my boss. Fantastic. A great way of using that, using the modal. Marcelo, you said you have a question.
Yeah, when people say should, they are on the wall, for instance. They are not. They are 50% sure and 50% not sure. Yeah.
When people use should,
Yeah, should. I should go, for instance. The people is on the wall, you know.
yeah,
They don't
yeah,
know
they're
if.
they're on the fence, right, Marcelo?
Yeah, they're on the fence. Yeah.
Yeah, they're on the fence about something, right? So that means that they're in the middle, right? So should actually is actually I think should is a modal of obligation and not a modal of deduction, right?
Okay.
So I
Okay.
think ought and should, those are modals of obligation because when you are using should, you are saying that you should do something, you are perhaps obligated to do something, right? It indicates a necessity to perform something, right?
Okay.
Whereas this is indicating the possibility of an action happening, right?
Okay.
So they're slightly different. There are two different types of modals that we're looking at here. But you're absolutely right. If we say should, then they're definitely on the fence, right? They're definitely they're debating, should I go A, should I go B, right?
Doubt.
Yes versus no. Fantastic. Yeah. Guys, any questions on this concept so far? I have one quick other grammar topic, and then we can go to the article. But I want to ask before we move on if there's any questions about this.
I'm okay.
Okay, Claudio's good. Dante, Julissa, Marcelo,
okay.
everyone's good?
Yes.
There are no
So,
questions.
Okay.
Sean? Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Good. I have to go down the line because I can't see anybody, so. All right, so now, the other example, right? The other example is how do we make this a negative? How do we negate a modal of deduction, right? And the way we do that is we can say something like, you can make a modal by using, for example, it must not have been something. It might not have been something. It may not have been something, right? So you can put not after any one of these modals, right? Must not, might, or may not, right? As well as could versus could not, right? So all three of these all of these types of examples are completely perfect, right? So if you're walking down the street and you see a guy who is, who is dressed in a very nice suit or something like that, right? You could say, he must not be poor, right? If he's dressed up very well, if he has a nice clothes, then he must not be poor, right? So you're making a judgment about somebody, you're making an opinion about somebody, right? And we're using that example that we saw earlier, where it's the subject plus the modal plus B and then your opinion, right? He must not be a poor person, right? Or might or may not, or could and could not, right? So,
One question.
yeah, go ahead, Sean.
So when we use must, which means we are more than 90% for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we say must not, it means less than 10% for sure. Well,
Fantastic question. Fantastic question. This is a very good question. We are still using the 90% of must is retained. You are 90% sure that it did not happen, or that it
Okay.
did not is not the case,
not
right?
the compensation for one.
Yeah. So I mean, we mathematically, yeah, don't divide it up like, okay, must is 90%, so must not is 10%. No, no, no. It's must not. Must not is you are 90% sure that something is not what you think it is, or not the case, right? So normal must is you're 90% positive about something. Normal must not is normal must is that you're 90% positive that something is something, and must not is that you are 90% confident that something is not something.
Okay.
Right? So you are just expressing your confidence with the must versus might versus could. Yeah, that's a very good question. Very good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have any questions? Yeah, go ahead, Julissa. I was just about to ask you.
Is it common to use mustn't, the abbreviation? He mustn't have done that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mustn't have done it, couldn't have done it, right? So couldn't, mustn't, right? These are all types of things that we use. Contractions, exactly, right? So actually, I spelled the last one wrong. It's mustn't is like this. I forgot the T, right? So must and then the N apostrophe T, right? Very, very common to use mustn't and couldn't. Couldn't is honestly, like, this is another thing, guys. So I liked it when Marcelo asked a question about ought, right? Mustn't is something that is not often found in normal American English conversation. Okay, mustn't to me sounds very, very formal, and it sounds British, honestly. Like, people in America don't usually say, you mustn't do it. People just say, you shouldn't do it, or you know, people say...
You must not.
People say must not if they are being very forceful about something, right? So if they're saying, if something is really forbidden, they say you must not do this, okay? That's when they spell it out. They don't use the contraction. But mustn't is almost like, it's rare, honest to God. I can't remember anybody telling me you mustn't do this or they mustn't do that. Americans normally just say they shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't do this, right? So they combine the modal of obligation with the modal of deduction, right?
I could say he shouldn't have had money to buy anything.
He shouldn't have had the money to buy something, right? Or he shouldn't have had the money to buy something, right?
Buy my car.
To buy my car, right? Yeah, what is the idea behind that? So, Claudia, when would you use that example?
For instance, if I am talking about a deal that I was sure that the boy would buy your car, but you came me and said, "Oh, wow, he didn't buy my car," and I said, "No, he must not have had money to buy your car."
Yeah, Claudia, that's a great question. In that example, it's better to use must not. Yeah, or mustn't. Either one will work, right? There is nothing wrong with mustn't. So, Julissa, when we were saying that before, there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying it. I just find it very uncommon in U.S. conversation, right? That's the only thing. But it's perfectly fine. You can use it. People will understand it. People won't say, "Hey, Julissa's British," People will understand it. It's just that honestly, I haven't heard it very often in the U.S., right? So mustn't in that case works. And Claudio, for your example, right? So if you say something like, he shouldn't have had the money, right? This is where we are drawing the line between the modal of obligation and the modal of deduction, right? Shouldn't, it doesn't really work in this example because, remember, you're making an opinion about this, right? You're making an opinion, you're saying, high, or you're saying this kid should not or must not have had the money to do this, right? He just didn't have the option. He was too poor. He couldn't have the money, right? So he mustn't have had the money, or he must not have had the money, right?
Okay.
That's a good way to think about it.
The same way to see if I saw in a big accident and I saw in a man laid in the street, I could say, oh, he must have dead.
He must be dead.
He must be dead.
He must be dead, right? So this is that first example when we are saying the subject plus the modal plus be, right? He must be, and then the noun, in this case, his condition is that he is dead, right? Or you can say he must not be alive.
He must not be alive. Yes.
He must not be alive, right?
More explained.
Hey, Francisco, how's it going? Welcome to class. I don't know if you can hear us.
Maybe he's muted.
Yeah, I think so. Let me write it.
Is it common to use?
Go ahead, Sean. Yeah.
Is it common to use? I'm not obliged to do something in America.
It's British.
Oh, it's a British.
It's British. Yeah. Yeah, it's British. I am obliged to do something. I am obliged to do something, right? I am obliged to. Yeah, it's so British. Like,
The classic.
It's very classic, yeah. In British English, they say much obliged, right? Much obliged is muito obrigado, right? Exactly. Much obliged is muito obrigado, right? I am much obliged to you. So for the Portuguese speakers here, much obliged is muito obrigado, right? So like
Muito obrigado.
yeah, like I'm much obliged. Thank you so much. I'm much obliged, right? It's very, very British, Sean. Extremely British. I mean, if you say that here, people will look at you and they will definitely say, okay, Sean is British.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So Francisco, wow, we have that many folks in this class. This is the first time for me, everyone. Francisco, sorry about the fact that you are muted. Maybe I didn't realize it mutes you after so many people. Do you see the red icon in the top, Francisco? You already tried it? Okay. All right. Sounds good. It gives me the thumbs up. Okay. So guys, any questions about this lesson so far? Anything we talked about so far? I want to jump to the article if we're okay. Are we okay?
Yes.
I'm okay, yes.
Silence is yes in this class, right?
Yes.
Silence is yes. Okay, great. Good to know. Okay, guys. So let's jump to the article real quick. You guys scare me sometimes. I'm asking. I don't hear anything. What's going on?
We could go to the article.
Okay, fantastic, great. So let us get started then, guys. Let us look at what is our thing, right? Where is my article? Oh crap, it's in this thing. You guys are seeing my lesson plan. No! Okay, good. Okay, so now here we're seeing, this is the article here today, guys, and I forgot to paste it for you guys too. I'm being a clown. Okay, so here is the article. You guys can all access it from the link. And we can also do our screen share, right? So I got the screen share going. We got the article. Let me know if you guys have any troubles opening up the link. So I'll give you guys 5 seconds. Okay. Elephants understand human gesture, right? So African elephants have demonstrated what appears to be an instinctive understanding of human gestures, according to UK scientists. In a series of tests, researcher Ann Smet of the University of St. Andrews offered the animals a choice between 2 identical buckets, then pointed at the one containing a hidden treat. From the first trial, the elephants chose the correct bucket. The results are published in the journal Current Biology. So, see how this elephant right here, the test was that there were 2 buckets on the ground, right? And the researcher put a treat, maybe a candy or something, maybe fruit, in one of the two buckets, right? And when she pointed at the bucket that had the treat, the elephant always followed her example, right? She was able to get the elephant to choose the bucket that had the treat, right? So the scientists worked with captive elephants at a lodge in Zimbabwe. So this is in Africa, right? Professor Richard Byrne, a co-author on the research, said the elephants had been rescued from culling operations and trained for riding. What does culling mean, guys? Have you guys heard this before? Culling?
No.
No.
Okay.
Culling is the act of killing an animal for something, for its skin or for its ivory. For in the case of elephants, people steal the ivory, right? This ivory is very expensive stuff. They make tables and chess pieces and all kinds of stuff. Piano keys from the ivory. So these elephants were all rescued from culling operations, right? They specifically train the elephants to respond to vocal cues. They don't use any gestures at all. So before these elephants were taught using gestures, they only knew how to listen to different kinds of commands, right? Because see how these elephants, they all have these saddles on the back, right? So they are trained to be riding elephants, right? You can ride on their back. So before they didn't understand gestures, now they understand gestures, right? The idea is that the handler, the person that is dealing with the elephant, can walk behind the elephant and just tell it what to do with words, right? So this is how these elephants naturally, somebody talks to them and they understand, right? Just like you can talk to your dog and he understands things, right? So despite this, the animals seemed to grasp the meaning of pointing from the outset. This makes them the only non-human animals to understand the gesture without being trained to do so, right? So these riding elephants, they understand voices, they understand voice commands. They were never trained to understand gestures, and they just automatically understood them, right? So this is the first time that we see a non-human animal that can do this, right, without any training. In previous studies, Professor Byrne said, our closest primate cousins, the chimpanzees, proved to be hopeless. So this absolutely did not work with chimpanzees. No matter what we tried with chimpanzees, they did not follow gestures, right? Blah, 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 blah. We don't really care. Professor Byrne said that studying the elephants helped build a map of part of the evolutionary tree that is very distant from humans. They're so unrelated to us, he told BBC News. So if we find human-like abilities in an animal like an elephant that hasn't shared a common ancestor with people for more than 100 million years, we can be pretty sure that it's evolved completely separately by what's called convergent evolution, right? So elephants are very distant from humans if you believe in evolution, and scientists are now thinking that this is helping them figure out maybe when the idea of gesture first became something that was used in living things, right? Historically speaking. Let's see here. The researchers said their findings might explain how elephants have successfully been tamed and have historically had a close bond with humans, in spite of being potentially dangerous and unmanageable due to their great size. But the scientists added the results could be a hint that the animal gestured to one another in the wild with their highly controllable trunks, right? So these scientists are saying maybe gestures are not a big deal for elephants because they have trunks and they might already do gestures, right? They might use their trunks to already do gestures between themselves, right? Ms. Smet told BBC News, the next step in our research is to test whether when an elephant extends its trunk upwards and down and outwards, as they regularly do, such as when detecting a predator, if this functions as a point, right? So the next thing these researchers want to do is they want to see what happens when an elephant raises its trunk and points to something. Is it pointing to other elephants? Hey, watch out, there's a lion or whatever, right? Or is it just doing it for some other reason? right? So the researchers still have a lot of ideas that they want to be able to utilize, right? And I think it's really interesting, right? The fact that we have all these types of examples, right? With elephants that are now understanding human gestures. What do you guys think about this article? Does it surprise you that the elephants are that they can understand gestures?
Um, from to be
Yeah.
honest, I'm not. To be honest, I'm not surprised because I agree with the late of the article when the science said that the elephants have a big trunks. So maybe it's a strange theory, but maybe the elephants thought that our arms is a kind of trunks, and they think that when we pointed to something, they understand that it's a kind of trunk to pointed.
Yeah, right. I think that's a great hypothesis. That's a great idea, right? Honestly, maybe because our arms look to them like a trunk, or they use their trunks, they see what we do, and they can understand, okay, she is pointing to this, I should go for that, right? That's a very good point, right? What about the rest of you guys? Do you guys agree with Claudio, or does this surprise you? Is this revolutionary science? What do you guys think? Uh, anybody. Don't all scream at once.
Well, I have read that elephants had also a good memory. So I think it's not surprising that they have other abilities too that maybe we don't know yet, but probably in the future we will know more about their other things that they can do between their group to understand each other.
Yeah, fantastic, Julissa, right? So elephants do have a really good memory. Have you guys heard the saying, an elephant forgives but never forgets? Have you guys heard that before? An elephant forgives but never forgets, right? This is something that is people who train elephants, like people from my part of the world. We have a lot of elephants where I'm from, and they have seen that elephants have a really strong memory. If you hit an elephant, like when you're training an elephant, if you hit the elephant remembers the people that were mean and angry at the elephant in the past. So there have been cases in India where elephants have killed just 2 or 3 people, right? So they broke into a place and they killed just the 2 or 3 people that were always very harsh to them, right? So they remember that stuff. It's crazy. Like they don't hurt the normal people. They don't hurt the kids, the children. They only kill the people that hurt them before, right? Very interesting situation. Francisco, I think we can hear you now, Francisco. How's it going?
Yes, I can hear you now. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can. Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm here with you.
Yeah, so what do you think about the article? Did you get a chance to listen?
Yeah, I think it's interesting article. Well, I'm trying here with you. I hope I can learn a lot from you.
Awesome, fantastic.
Well, I think elephants are great animals. They are well. I have a lot of respect. I respect them too much because they are big and they can damage. They can make big damage to people if you hurt them.
Yeah.
They are amazing animals.
That's awesome. And Francisco, where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm from Ciudad Juárez, Mexico.
Mexico, Ciudad Juárez. Okay, so you're very close to me then.
Okay.
Ciudad Juárez is what part of Mexico? What state?
Chihuahua. Chihuahua is near to El Paso, here in Paso, Texas.
Fantastic. El Paso. I was in El Paso maybe 2.5 months ago. Very close. I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm from further north. Yeah, but I think you are still the closest to me of everybody in this class.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, welcome to class.
Thank you.
And so, what about the rest of you guys? So, Marcelo or Dante, what do you guys think about this article? I think it's very fascinating, right? That they are able to do this and that they have such good memory. Have the guys that you said, you guys, if you guys have pets, right? What I think is really interesting in this article is they're saying these elephants had no training, right? And I think Dante, or no, Dante, I'm sorry, you don't have a pet, but somebody said that it took them just 2 weeks, maybe. I think it was Claudio, right? Claudio, you said you took 2 weeks to teach your dog how to sit down and things like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, right.
Two
And
weeks. 2 weeks to
so
my dog learned about it.
yeah, and now these elephants seem to know instantly these things, right? It's very amazing, I think. Dante, what do you think? Dante, are you there?
Yeah, I'm
Uh-huh.
here.
Go ahead, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I seem
I mean, I guess, like, what was your reaction? Did you think it was interesting, cool? I just wanted to see what you thought.
well, the article is interesting, but uh, I don't know. I have heard about the intelligence or the memory of the elephants,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know a lot of about the topic.
Yeah, no, same here, same here. Sometimes the topics I choose are very specific things, and if I think they're interesting, I choose them. But sometimes they're not the best ways to have a conversation. What about okay? So I think maybe you were laughing or something, laughing at me. I think. What's your take on this? Can you hear me?
I think yes,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I think I agree with all my friends here.
Uh-huh.
It's very interesting that to see that other animal can communicate with us.
Yeah, right. I mean, what animals are out there? Marcelo, let me ask you this question. What other animals are out there that we can train or that humans use to get things done, right? Historically, what animals have we used?
They usually use dogs to make things, dogs and I don't know the name of the big fish,
Dolphins, maybe?
dolphins. Yeah, dolphins. I
Yeah.
think they are very
Whales.
smart too.
Yeah, dolphins are very
Yeah,
smart. Dolphins have
dolphins.
actually saved people who were drowning.
Yeah. I think this topic is very, very amazing, interesting. But we see that um, large head, large memory.
Yeah, right. I think it's part of it. I think it's definitely part of it. And
Yeah.
another really cool thing about elephants. I don't know why I know all this stuff about elephants, but they also have. If you guys maybe Google or find out later, they also have elephant graveyards, right? So elephants have graveyards. Like maybe, I mean, they don't like have them on purpose. If an elephant dies somewhere, right, then if the bones of the elephant are still visible, right? If the bones of the dead elephant are still visible, when other elephants walk by, they slow down, they stop, they are sad when they see dead elephants or bones of dead elephants, right? So
Yeah.
they actually call this, elephant graveyard, and they see how emotional these elephants get, right? So they have a really strong memory. They are really intelligent animals, which I think is really cool.
Monkeys are very clever too.
Yeah. Monkeys are extremely clever. But, in this article, they were saying that when they tried to use the same research on monkeys, the monkeys did not follow the gestures. So,
Okay.
yeah, so they're saying something about, I think it was chimpanzees, right? They were pointing at chimpanzees, or they did the same test. The chimpanzees just did whatever they wanted. They were they were not following any orders. Ken, way on the left, what do you think about this?
Yeah, yeah, it's I think the chimpanzee is the most human-like creature, but they cannot understand gesture, but the elephant can understand gesture. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that because one of the things the article says also is, elephants are related to cows much more than they are related to humans, right? So if you look at the evolution, humans are closer to monkeys than elephants, right? But, I don't remember, have you guys ever been able to point to a cow and do they understand gestures? I don't know.
No, they understand.
I don't think so, right? I don't remember a cow ever listening to their master, right? Cows do whatever they want. Let's see, I had another question for you guys. Do you think this research that they're doing, right? Do you think this research will help us train other animals in the future? Let's start with Francisco.
Well, I haven't read the investigation, the document. Sorry.
Oh, no problems, no problems. All they said was in the actual article, all they said was that they were using this research to they had two buckets on the ground, right? Two buckets. One had like a treat or a candy or something, and the second one was empty. So when the scientist pointed at the one that had candy, the elephant didn't refuse. It directly went to the same one that the person pointed to. So it was always following the person's finger, right?
Okay.
When it was being pointed to. So that's the only thing.
Gestures.
Gestures, yeah, the person's gesture, exactly, not finger, exactly. The person's gesture, right? So it's following the person's gesture. So, we do see, like in India, they train elephants for different things, right? Could this research be used to maybe train other animals that we don't know about, right? Maybe cows, I don't know, maybe we can train cows.
Cows? I think
Yeah.
it's possible. Impossible.
Maybe, I don't know why we would train cows though, honestly. Maybe there's no need, right? Or maybe bulls, right? Like maybe for bullfighting. All of you bullfighters out there, people who like
Dolphins, they usually look the gestures, not what the people say, but just the gestures.
Yeah. What's an example? Did you guys ever see a show when they use dolphins in like a
Yes,
park, right?
yes, in aquariums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Dolphins and whales. Whales are very clever too, and I saw in a kind of shows a lot of whales and which seems like very very interesting. I don't know if so interested as elephant, but very clever too.
Yeah, they can follow instructions, right? Like, have you guys seen videos from maybe SeaWorld? SeaWorld is a park.
Yes, I know SeaWorld.
Yeah,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff, right? Like it's in Walt Disney. If you guys, I think one of you guys said you guys were at Walt Disney, right? Big park, right? Killer whales, Shamu. You guys know Shamu?
Shamu in San Diego.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, is his last name San Diego, really?
Yeah, in San Diego there's an aquarium or something. Well, I went 2 years ago.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, they have water parks everywhere now. In San Diego, definitely, I think they have Shamu also. Or, I think the original Shamu, I think, died. Now they just call anything that's a whale that looks like Shamu, they call it Shamu. So
maybe there are a lot of Shamus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Shamus out there, right? It's the killer whale, right? It's a big black and white whale. It does tricks. If you say stand up, it stands up. It does interesting things like that. But even with those animals, you have to train them, I think, right? Before they can do that.
Francisco said that the weird thing is that they are afraid of mice. I don't believe in it. I think it's a thing of cartoons,
Maybe, Francisco, what do you think? Is it from a cartoon?
Well, some people say that most of the elephants are afraid of mice. I don't know why.
We should do an experiment, Marcelo. Let's take some mice. Let's take some mice, put it in front of an elephant. Yeah.
I will leave a hat to a zoo to put it near an elephant to see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. You know, honestly, I don't hear of that in Indian culture at all. I've never heard of that. Of the mice scaring elephants, you know, Francisco. So maybe it is from cartoons because my
Yeah.
people, my people, we have so many elephants. We have elephants in the street, you know, and there are mice, you know, in many parts of the world, and I've never heard that before about the mice thing, but it's funny. It's funny. It's good.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. So in terms of the other stuff that I wanted to ask about, so the research, what we can do to train other animals, maybe we can train other animals, and then that was really it. I mean, I was just looking at this article. It seemed interesting to me, so I decided to share it. Did you guys have any questions about the article? Any other random questions, conversations? We always start conversations when we're in class. So,
Yes, Farhan.
yes.
I have a question. And in the middle of this class, you said stuff, this kinds of stuff, you said. And I could say this kind of things, stuff and things means the same thing.
100%.
100%.
100%. Yeah. We Americans always say stuff.
Okay.
And
Always say
always.
stuff. And you prefer to say stuff than things.
Yeah, we prefer to say stuff over things. Yeah. Yeah.
If I would say the things of life, the stuff of life, I could say it.
The stuff of life, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We actually say that as an expression. So, for example, if you're at a party and somebody gives you a very expensive or very delicious wine or a very expensive drink, right? You can say, "This is the good stuff," right? This is the good stuff. This is the best quality, you know, wine or beer or whatever. This is the good stuff, right? And we say, for example, I have heard that expression before. This is the stuff of life, right? This is what life should be: relaxing, having a good time. This is the stuff of life.
I have a lot of stuffs in my house.
So we actually never pluralize stuff, Claudio. You can just
Okay.
say, "I have a lot of stuff in my house."
Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff in my house, right? Or I have to move all of this stuff, right? I have to get all of this stuff done.
Okay. Thank you, Farhan.
absolutely.
I knew this word, but I didn't know that you used to use a lot.
We use it all the time, especially I think I use it a lot. I think just in my conversation, maybe other people use it less, but I use it a lot, right? Marcelo, I have not seen the story of stuff. Is this maybe a movie?
Yeah, the YouTube. That is in YouTube, not a movie. It's a woman tell the story of the stuff. When the stuff, the beginning of the stuff, when they are created by by the men, and the final of the stuff. You know, for instance, when you buy a cell phone, for instance, the environment, what happens with the environment, with the manufacturing, and so on. That is in the YouTube.
The story of stuff. So I guess it talks about how things that we throw away, how they decompose or how they are disposed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point, right? Because they say like plastic and styrofoam take a long time to decompose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to watch this, or I have to put it on my list of things to see. The story of stuff, right? Yeah, so we use stuff a lot. We also, another problem with American English is we say, a lot of people, a lot of young people, especially girls, they say the word like a lot, okay? Instead of saying as in or for example, they say like. And they use it so much that it's becoming almost a cultural problem for us. So, like when I'm see right now, I said like, right? When, for example, if I want to say something, I say like this, or instead of saying he told me, you know, come to my party. American people say he was like, come to my party. He was like, come to my party. So was like has the same meaning as told me, or told, or said, right? It's very confusing. It's 100%. It's an American disease right now, right? It's going around America. All the young people are saying like instead of using verbs.
It's a
you
kind
know?
of slang that they used to use there.
Yeah, but this slang is so predominant. I mean, even people who are not usually saying slang say this, right? It's become something very serious in terms of just normal conversation.
Do you use kinda and sorta too?
Kind of, or sort.
Like
Yeah,
like.
we do. Yeah, we do. I mean, I sometimes when I'm talking to my friends and it's a less formal conversation, I say like all the time. You know, he was
I
like
could
this, she was like this.
I could say I was sort of came in your party. Not. I was like came your party.
Yeah, well, there's grammar around it too, right? So I was like, came to my party wouldn't work. It would be something like, I was, I guess in that example we would say I came to your party, because like is used as a substitute for told me or said to me, right? Those are the two most common ways we use it. So
Okay.
we say, for example, he was like instead of he told me, right? And girls use this so much. It's ridiculous. He was like, she was like, I was like.
He was like bad stuffs. Bad
Yeah,
stuff. He
that
was
would
like
mean,
bad
yeah, he
stuff.
said bad stuff. Yeah, right. Confusing, very confusing.
Okay.
Don't let this stuff confuse you guys, because it's bad grammar. It's horrible grammar. It's horrible English. But if you hear it in a normal conversation, then you can. I guess if you watch music videos, or teenage YouTube videos about like culture or stuff like that, um, then you will hear like a lot. It's it's not good English.
Like a lot. So I like so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
I
so
really
much. I
like
like a
so
lot,
much.
right? That's the proper use of like. I will like so much. Yeah, those all work, right?
I like so much your class.
So yeah, I don't know, guys. Sometimes it's. Say that again, Marcella.
I did like so much your class.
I did like so much
Your
the
class.
chocolates, right? Yeah, that's fine, because like. Oh, my class. My
Yeah,
bad.
your
I'm
class.
sorry.
Your
I did
class.
like so much the class. Fantastic. No, absolutely. You're welcome. I made a mistake when I was typing it. We also say, what's another thing we say? I forgot, but there are some other things that we also mention a lot that are cultural kind of issues. Um, any other questions, guys? I don't mean to hold here for longer than we need to.
Okay.
Francisco, any questions? Or
No
Julissa,
questions,
or
teacher.
Dante, anybody?
No.
Good morning for you. Have a nice day.
Uh-huh. Have a
No
nice day,
question
you as
from
well. Yeah.
no question from another
Awesome,
great
bud.
class. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, guys. This is a very full class. People are getting kicked out. So, uh, Francisco, I'm glad you finally were able to join. Yeah. See you later, Julissa.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Farham. Bye.
Ken, any questions from you?
Yes, I'll just come back. Thank you very
Uh-huh.
much.
Yeah. No,
So see you again.
take
Bye.
care. Bye, guys. I think Ken is okay then. No worries. No worries. Awesome, guys. Take care then. See you guys.
Yes, and I have a pet, my own pet, and he understand my signals, my gestures.
What kind of pet is
It's
it?
it's a dog.
It's a dog. Okay, fantastic.
It's a dog. Yes.
And so, what kinds of gestures does he understand? Like,
To sit and to go out when when he is running a lot and we want to be calm and I just I just make a gesture and or I just do a gesture. I just make a gesture to
make a
him.
gesture is good. Make a gesture is good. Yeah.
I just make a gesture to him and he go out to the kitchen or the out of kitchen or
Fantastic.
the out of room. Yes.
That's awesome. So yeah, dogs are also extremely intelligent, right? They can understand a lot of things that we do. Dante,
But
do you? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Claudio.
but oh, of course he was trained to understand it.
Yeah. How long did it take you to train him?
Maybe 2 weeks. In the third week, he was understood.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. That's a smart animal, right? Uh, so Dante, what about you? Do you own a pet? Elephants are actually one of the most intelligent animals in the world, right? We look at dolphins as being extremely intelligent in the water. Elephants are extremely intelligent on land, right? Very very intelligent land animals. And one of the things that we are going to learn about is when it comes to elephants, when it comes to their gestures, right? When it comes to human beings making gestures, right? What's a gesture? A gesture is me saying, come here, right? Or bye bye, right? These are gestures, right? So elephants, scientists are studying elephants and they believe that elephants can actually understand human gestures, right? So if you tell an elephant go there, right? Elephant will go there, or they will do certain things when you use gestures, right? Before I go on though, Sean, how's it going? Welcome to class.
Hey, how are you? I'm good. Thank you.
Good, good, fantastic. We have a lot of folks in this class, so that's very good. 6 students so far. So I wanted to ask you guys, since we're talking about animals, we're talking about human-animal interaction, right? The question I had for you guys was, do any of you guys own any pets? And if so, what pet do you own? And if not, then what pet would you like to own? Right? So I want everyone to at least say something if they don't own a pet or if they do own a pet, right? Let's start with Claudio on the left.
Yes.
Yeah, very very rarely, I think, right? Great, great, awesome, guys. So, how's it going?
Good.
Were you busy in the last class? I wasn't sure because you were bouncing in and out a little bit. Was it your connection, maybe?
Honestly, I was making me some breakfast.
Oh, okay, fantastic. I thought maybe it was something with maybe like the Google Hangout or something. So I wasn't sure if that was causing problems, but okay, no problems. Julissa, can you hear us by any chance?
Yes, hi.
Hey, Julissa, how's it going?
Hello.
Good, good.
I'm doing fine.
Nice.
But I hear it's a little bit breaking. Maybe it's my connection.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
The rest of you guys? Okay.
Yes, I can hear her okay.
Yeah, I think, Julissa, it might be your connection. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Maybe it's breaking up a little bit. Yeah.
I will reload it.
Okay, no worries. Okay, Claudia, welcome back.
Okay, nice to see you again, friend.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Nice to see you as well. Let us actually, guys, let's wait 2 more minutes, but before we get started with the actual lesson, I want to take some time to just explain what we're going to talk about today. So today we are actually going to be looking at a very fascinating article about elephants, right? So when we think about animals, elephants Welcome to class. It's very early. It's
Thank you.
yeah, that's great.
Good.
Hey,
Where are
so
you?
welcome back. Oh, I am in Wisconsin, so I'm back home. I am 7 hours behind you, so it's 10 p.m. here in Wisconsin. Yeah. Oops. Can't spell my own state. Yeah, Wisconsin. There you go.
Okay.
So yeah, in cold Wisconsin. Today the temperature was 3 degrees centigrade outside.
Ooh, very cold.
Yeah, just in October.
Yeah, October.
I think November is probably going to be -10, -20, no, probably -10 centigrade. I've seen -10 centigrade before. Very cold, right?
Temperature in Madrid is 15 degrees, more or less.
That's pretty comfortable. That's a nice temperature, right?
Yeah, but it's going to down more.
It's going to go down? Yeah. No, absolutely.
In the proximal month.
Yeah, November is usually December and January are the coldest months here, but I don't like. Do you guys see snow in central Spain, like in Madrid? Do you guys see snow?
It snows in the north of Spain. In Madrid, very, very.
This is going to be a fun class. I'm going to like this class.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, I think the subject is actually very interesting. So it'll be fun to see what you guys think. Hey,
Yeah,
Dante.
It makes me realize that we have a lot to learn.
Yeah, we always have a lot to learn, right? It's actually really good. Dante, how's it going?
Fine, Farhan. How are you?
Good. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah. How is life? Everything going okay?
Yes, everything is okay.
Fantastic. Yeah, no problems. Hey, Julissa, how's it going? Oh, I think maybe she signed on. Julissa! I'm just joking. Okay, I think she will join in a little bit. Sometimes her internet gets a little disconnected. But yeah, so Dante, remind me again, do you live in Madrid?
Yes, I live in Madrid.
Yes. Okay, I was trying to remember because sometimes I forget where folks are from. But okay, no, Madrid. It's very early morning there right now, right?
Yes, it's 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning. Wow.